He weighed 106 pounds. He was 16 years old. He had no trainer, no manager, no money. He had nothing except the most dangerous hands in the history of boxing. 8 world titles, 8 different weight classes. The only man in history to do it. This is where it started, and it started with nothing. General Santos City, Mindanao, southern Philippines, a place where the fishing boats come in before dawn, and the children go hungry by noon. Manny Pacquiao was born here in 1978 into a family that couldn't afford to stay together. His father left. His mother, Dionysia, raised 6 children on almost nothing. Manny sold bread on the street before school. He sold donuts. He did whatever it took because the alternative was watching his family starve. Boxing found him early, or he found it. A pair of borrowed gloves, a dirt yard, the neighborhood boys who kept losing to him and couldn't figure out why. At 14, he made a decision that would define everything. He stowed away on a cargo ship bound for Manila. No ticket, no plan, no adult. Just a boy in the dark of a cargo hold, convinced that somewhere in that city there was a way out. Manila didn't welcome him. He slept where he could, ate when he could. He lied about his weight to get fights, too light even for the lightest divisions. The officials looked the other way, because when this kid threw a punch, everyone stopped talking. By 18, he was Philippine flyweight champion. By 21, he had his first world title, WBC Super Bantamweight, destroying Lelehanlo Ledwaba in Las Vegas. The world had no idea what was coming. Then came Marco Antonio Barrera, 4-time world champion, the best featherweight alive, a man who had ended careers and left bodies behind him. The fight was in Las Vegas. Nobody gave Pacquiao a chance. Pacquiao dismantled him, every round. The speed was inhuman. The angles were impossible. Barrera's corner threw in the towel in the 11th, to save their man from something they couldn't name. The world had just been introduced to Manny Pacquiao. Back in the Philippines, an entire nation had watched through the night. Street parties in Manila, churches full before dawn, a country of 80 million people, holding one breath. Because Manny Pacquiao wasn't just a fighter, he was theirs. But boxing had more waiting for him. Eric Morales, 3 brutal fights, win, loss, win. Then Juan Manuel Marquez, a tetralogy that would span a decade and haunt them both. Marquez 4, December 2012, the 6th round. Pacquiao threw a right hand and left himself exposed for a single catastrophic counter. Marquez's right hand landed flush. Pacquiao fell face first. He did not move. The arena went silent. Every fight has a cost. Every man who steps into that ring is mortal. The 10 count had told, not for his life, but for his myth of invincibility. He was human. The Philippines learned that night to love him differently. Before that fall, he had already done the impossible. Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy, 6th Division champion, the face of boxing. Pacquiao moved up 3 weight classes to fight him. He didn't just win, he ended De La Hoya's career. Miguel Cotto, Ricky Hatton, Antonio Margarito, each one a champion, each one left behind. The WBO welterweight title, the WBO light welterweight title, the Ring Magazine Fighter of the Decade, 2000 to 2009. And then there was the fight that almost wasn't. Floyd Mayweather, the richest, most technically perfect fighter alive. For 5 years, the world begged for it. Negotiations collapsed. Accusations flew. A generation of boxing fans lost hope it would ever happen. May 2, 2015, MGM Grand Garden Arena, Las Vegas. 4.4 million pay-per-view buys. The most lucrative fight in boxing history. The fight they called the fight of the century. Before a single punch had been thrown. Pacquiao lost, on points. Clearly. A shoulder injury he had declared before the fight. Dismissed, minimized, fought through anyway. Mayweather was brilliant. Pacquiao was compromised. The fight the world had waited 5 years for had come 5 years too late. But by then, Manny Pacquiao had already become something larger than any fight. He had been elected to the Philippine House of Representatives. He would later become a senator. The boy who sold bread on the street was now writing the laws of his nation. He carried his faith everywhere. A Bible in the locker room. A prayer before every round. A man who had climbed out of poverty and never forgot who had watched over him through the dark years. The later years brought more fights. Some he shouldn't have taken. Jeff Horn in Brisbane, a disputed decision that stunned the sport. The WBO welterweight title, lost in a stadium in Australia. But he kept coming back because quitting was never in him. At 40 years old, he stopped Adrian Broner and defended his WBA welterweight title. Then he stopped Keith Thurman, a 27-year-old champion. Pacquiao, world champion at 40, the oldest welterweight champion in history. He retired. He ran for president of the Philippines. He lost the election. He came back, fighting Yordenis Ugas in 2021, his first fight in 2 years. The body wasn't what it was, but the heart never changed. He lost to Ugas on points. After 12 rounds of a man squeezing the last of something extraordinary out of a body that had carried him. From a cargo hold to a world stage. He was 42 years old. He had nothing left to prove to anyone. What do you do with a life like this? A boy born with nothing, who became 8-division world champion, congressman, senator, presidential candidate, and the heartbeat of a nation of 110 million people. You don't measure it in titles. You can't. When Pacquiao fought, the Philippines stopped. Crime rates fell. Traffic vanished. A nation of islands divided by language and geography and politics, united by one man's fists. No athlete in history has done to a country what Manny Pacquiao did to the Philippines. The 10 count, the bell that tolls for a fighter counted out, and the bell that honors those who have left us. Manny Pacquiao was counted out more than once, by poverty, by circumstance, by the men across the ring. He always got up, every single time. He came from a city where the boats returned before dawn, where the children go hungry by noon. He sold bread so his family could eat, and then he went out, and he fed an entire country something they needed far more than bread. He gave them hope.